From CGTN headquarters in Beijing, this is The Hub with Wang Guan.
Hello and welcome to The Hub. I'm Wang Guan in Beijing. 8 decades after the end of World War II, Japan's new militarism is once again raising serious concerns across the international community. At the United Nations Security Council this week, China urged Japan to reflect and correct what they called dangerous and misleading remarks on the Taiwan question, warning that such rhetoric challenges post-war international law and sends a highly irresponsible signal. While some attempt to dilute historical responsibility, others choose to preserve historical truth. Evan Kale, a pawn shop owner and internet and social media influencer from Minnesota, the United States, first connected with China after donating a World War II photo album. In November 2024, he came to China himself to see the country up close and explore new opportunities in a changing world. So what risks does Japan's new militarism pose to regional stability? And at the same time, how can personal experiences like Evan's help preserve historical memory and build understanding between people in today's tense world? In November 2022, Evan Kale donated a vintage photo album documenting Japanese war crimes during the invasion of China to the Chinese Consulate General in Chicago. Since then, he has continued to donate related wartime materials, helping bring historical truth to a wider audience and demonstrating a strong commitment to conscience and justice.
It's a way to keep the victims and their memories alive forever so that we can study the past and we can hopefully do better in the future.
Yeah, I mean, at one point when you were in the northeast of China, you were moved to tears when you were awarded something like a model worker title. Tell us about that. Why were you so touched?
Well, I went through a lot of really crazy stuff, and there was a lot of trauma that I endured. One being the subject of a viral video that gets picked apart 7 ways from Sunday. I mean, there was so much negativity about my original video. And in a lot of ways, I'm carrying the weight of some really heavy stuff on my shoulders. People compare me to Iris Chang, who wrote The Rape of Nanking.
Yeah.
This is a learned scholar and historian who devoted her life and ultimately gave her life in a lot of ways to the terrible history. And here I am, a guy who made a video and made a donation, and I'm equated with her. So a lot of stuff that I do when I travel, it has some really heavy connotations. Whenever I travel to Nanjing, I feel a very heavy shadow following me. I've been there twice now for Memorial Day. And in a lot of ways, it kind of feels like I'm the pallbearer of a funeral for 300,000 people when I go there on that day. So it's really intense and heavy, and it's a lot for me to take in. And I'm often moved to tears, whether it be by the beauty of people saying how touched they are by what I did, whether it be the fact that I'm standing at the site of a war crime and I'm looking at an open graveyard with skeletons in it, or just whether it be the fact that I have, again, touched so many people and I moved so many people by total accident. And it's just a lot to take on and handle. I mean, the other flip side of it too is I decided when I came to China that this wasn't going to be only about World War II. I mean, I'm here as a symbol of what happened. I'm here as a symbol of remembrance. I'm kind of, when you think of World War II figures, a lot of Chinese people now think of me, and I have an honor and a duty to represent that. But I also want to do something constructive. I don't want to be bogged down and only focus on World War II stuff when there's a lot more positive things with a lot of happy emotions that I can do as well. So that's kind of how the brand has evolved with me. Is it started out from World War II, but now it's about travel. It's about showcasing modern China. It's about me as an American symbol traveling through China, being a representative and a figure of U.S.-China relations, especially at a time where U.S.-China diplomacy is at quite an impasse.
You know, if you look at the mainstream Western American narratives on World War II, they focus largely on Pearl Harbor, right? On Normandy landing, on the European theaters and then on the Pacific theaters, largely ignoring the sacrifices, the losses, the engagement, the battles between the Chinese people and the aggressors from Japan. Now, you're doing something quite extraordinary, that is to bring to light the wartime atrocities committed by the Japanese aggressors, the militarist aggressors, the atrocities committed against the Chinese people. How do you feel about it, being one voice, a lone voice against the mainstream narratives of your home country?
Well, I think the accident of how I got here kind of highlights just that, in that in the West, in America, we say we won World War II. We means America. We doesn't mean America and everybody that America worked with to win World War II. We just kind of seem to take all the credit for it. And that's simply not accurate. Had Japan not broken its military might trying to take China and incurring such heavy losses, there's a very real chance that World War II would have gone on longer. Ultimately, would the United States have prevailed and defeated Japan? I don't know. Who's to say? Probably. But it might have taken a few more years. There might have been a much higher loss of life. Had Japan not expended such incredible military forces trying and failing to take China, I really think China is what screwed up the Japanese war machine more than anything, and the resistance that the Chinese people gave against Japan. So a lot of Westerners don't seem to know that, or when they think of what China did for World War II, they think of the Flying Tigers, and then they beeline to, oh, we gave them the planes. So, we basically did that. They don't think of the resistance that happened amongst all the guerrilla fighters, all the people on the ground, all the incredible losses that Japan suffered trying to take China and trying to hold China. And I think it's just in the West largely forgotten the sacrifices that China made. And I would like to do my part in educating the world that World War II was a group effort by the Americans and all the people it allied with, whether it be we supplied, we trained. The fact is, other countries spilled blood, a lot of it, to stop totalitarianism and fascism.
Yeah.
And had we not all worked together and shed blood and men and died, it might have gone differently. If World War II had gone differently, we would be living in a completely different, terrible, terrible world. I mean, the world's already, don't get me wrong, the world's already pretty bad right now, but it would be way, way, way worse had things not gone the way they did.
Yeah. We don't know what Trump's peace committee will lead to. Elon Musk joked today at the World Economic Forum in Davos saying that he thought the peace committee, by peace, he means PIECE, taking Venezuela or taking Greenland one piece at a time. Now, on
let me just kind of quickly inject this. I would just like to say I also hear I'm privileged to be in this position, and my position seems to be becoming more and more topical and relevant. And that is, I want Chinese people to know Americans, they're average people like me, and what you see represented on TV does not represent the people at large. Look at what's happening in my home state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
You have a clash happening of federal versus state rights,
Yes.
of the people versus the will of the government and the way it's unfolding. And I just want people to be reminded that what they see on TV, if they don't like the leader of America, just know that the American people aren't all falling in under that. And I'm in a unique position right now to be this American who's a good face, who wants diplomacy, who wants peace, who wants to come to the negotiating table, who wants to advocate for communication and dialogue, not destruction. Personally, I'm not a fan of what is happening back home. I am horrified at what I see on TV, and I really, really, really don't like the direction that my country is going in terms of how it carries itself, how it conducts itself on the world stage. This is not what being an American means to me.
Yeah, what I want to say is what happens in the Beltway in Washington can be a totally different city, with totally different people. That's another story for another discussion. Now, on a happier note, Evan, we're celebrating the Lunar New Year, the Year of the Horse. Any wishes in the Year of the Horse for our viewers?
Well, I'd like to continue what I'm doing. I'd like to continue having the impact that I'm having. There's a lot I want to see and do. Traveling China, continuing to build my brand and my message. And, this is a time period where we need unity and peace and harmony and understanding and dialogue and being able to communicate with each other, because the world seems to be teetering and flirting with the idea of World War III. And it's people like me, average people, need to be injecting their voice and their opinion and their positivity into an ever-degrading landscape of something truly disturbing that seems to get worse every day.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing, and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference. Images may appear to be identical, but looks can be deceiving. The difference is not always obvious. It has to be discovered. There are always different sides to a story. We put the focus on the details. To see more, to understand better. CGTN. See the difference.
In November 2024, Evan Kao set foot in China for the first time, further deepening his connections with the country.
我在今天，你呢？
So far, he has traveled to more than 40 Chinese cities, experiencing local life and culture along the way. China has become an important new chapter in his life, and through his actions, he is helping build bridges of understanding between China and the wider world.
This is a very beautiful place. I can't encourage people enough to come here, especially if they enjoy the outdoors and experience the environment here.
You do a lot of social media stuff. You're based in China. Maybe you can tell our viewers what your life, your work, your career is right now?
Absolutely. So when I came to China, it was just to pay my respects in November of 2024. It had been 2 years since the donation I made of the World War II photo album. I waited 2 years. I wanted things to die down. There was a lot of feelings, and a lot of Chinese people had a lot of emotion on what I had done, and I wanted everything to just kind of chill out before I came and became this figure. But I only came here just to pay my respects. I wanted to be in Nanjing on Memorial Day. I wanted to see the country for myself and see the people that had so openly taken it in their arms, or at least what I thought was digitally. And when I arrived, I realized I had an opportunity to take a moment and, I guess you could say, turn it into a movement. And it's something I wanted to do for the construction of peace and diplomacy, to build better bridges between my country, the United States, and China. I've become this figurehead of what Chinese people imagine the, you might say, ideal American, or what a good American looks like. And I wanted to build something with it that was long and lasting and had a lot of meaning. And that's what I've now taken this moment and turn it into, is becoming this figure, this American fish out of water, you might say, that goes all over the country, travels it, experiences it, and makes these videos and broadcasts them not just to Chinese audiences, but an international audience, to give people a better understanding what the real China is like. Because people that consume media about China, they probably don't have, at least if it's in the West, they probably don't have a good opinion about China. And when I came here and I saw what China was like, I thought it was kind of my duty to take this popularity and do something constructive with it, to show the West, hey, this is what China's like. You know, this is me, an average American, traveling China, having these great experiences. Maybe you as a Westerner should come here too and check it out for yourself, rather than forming an opinion that you got from the media.
So, Evan, you're huge in China. Last time I checked, you have around 4.7 million followers. I mean, you show them everything. You know, everywhere you go, you're traveling with 2 ducks, and you're doing acupuncture, right? Fire cupping. That scares some people in the West off, but you loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an adventuresome person. Everywhere I go is a new adventure. And I think what's particularly unique about me, I'm from the Midwest, what was considered a flyover state, and I was the center of international news, Minnesota. But I am a person from kind of, I mean, my background is pretty eclectic, but, you know, I come from very humble and traditional roots, and I was not well traveled. And now I go all over China and I have these adventures, and I'm kind of uniquely positioned to be this person having these experiences. I really hope people, particularly Americans or people in the West, they see a Midwesterner without, you know, a terribly exciting background suddenly has this exciting life and has these adventures. And I hope they see what I do and how I do it and the life that I live, and they want to check out China for themselves, or they want to learn about China through my eyes.
Alan, you have a huge fan base, especially after the Lunar New Year Gala that is, you know, according to multiple sources, the most watched gala show, variety show on the planet.
I was pretty blown away when I heard just how many people saw me on TV. I knew it was big, but then I saw the number and I was like, how many people? So yeah, it was an honor to be invited last year as a presenter, and I'm looking forward. I'll be in China this year for the whole Lunar Festival, so I'm looking forward to watching it on TV like everyone else this year.
Yeah, I want to bring you back to that episode because it became a familiar face after the Lunar New Year recording. It seems more fun as the audience, a member of the audience, than actually being there, sitting there, going through the rehearsals and doing the recording.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was great to be a participant, and I was, to be honest, ignorant what I was being invited to and how big of a deal it was. I mean, I was ignorant of how many people were watching it until I heard the actual viewer number. But it's a lot of work. It was great to be a participant and get to have that experience. But it was. I had to go to, I think, 7 rehearsals. A lot of work went into it, and I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing as a viewer what it looks like.
So what do you think is the biggest contrast for an average American? China may be just a spot on the map, but for you, it's a place in the heart, right? If you zoom into the Chinese society, its social, cultural, historical background, is the vibes that people give you, the human touch, wherever you turn. I mean, what is the biggest contrast, if you compare the China that you read on American textbooks versus the China that you experience right now, right here?
Well, I think the biggest contrast is the agenda the US media and the Western media portrays China as being this dystopian, authoritarian hellhole where there's terrible things happening and everyone's under surveillance. And there's just all this negativity and all this boogeyman whispering about what China is. China wants to take over the world. They're spying on us. They're harvesting our data. They want to destroy us all. And like
Exactly.
what you have perpetuated in Western media, and that fundamentally and simply by my travels and experiences is not true. So me being able to come here and experience this and show Americans, hey, come here, check it out for yourself, I think is really important for soft power diplomacy. I'm not an elected official. Nobody gave me a government position. I don't work with the US government or the Chinese government. I work by myself doing what I think is right. And that is showing people travel is good, go to places, form your own opinion. If people come here and they don't like it, well, at least they came and they checked it out. There's very few places on earth you should not travel, and China most definitely is not one of them. But I think a lot of Americans think that it is. I have some friends, they don't want to come here. And they know what's happening to me. They know if they came here, they would be in my company and everything would be fine. But they have read so much nonsense and hysteria about what China is, they're afraid to come here. And I think that's true, at least for a lot of average Americans. They would not want to come here because of what they hear. And you got to see it to believe it. Don't judge a book by its cover, as they say. So that is what I see as my role is now with this popularity that I have, is breaking down these constructed ideas, these artificial ideas of what a country actually is, and getting people to travel. And it doesn't just go with the Americans and Chinese. I'm hoping people take a page from me on what I'm doing and they apply this to other countries too. If there's a place that maybe you don't want to go, maybe you think something about it that is scary about it, look and see what happened to me and think, well, maybe I should go there and check it out for myself.
Very well said. Totally agree. Now, what do you think is the biggest pleasant surprise or surprises that China has presented you with?
Oh, the technology. And I say this again and again. I wish America had the high-speed trains. My God, I would be able to go see my parents. They live 2.5 hours away from me. I'd be able to see them in 30 minutes, not a 2.5-hour car ride. It blows me away that America does not have technology like China has. And I think it really showcases how much China is advancing and the work, at least that my country has to do in order to catch up on the world stage with technology. When I got back, I went home over the Christmas holiday to go see my parents. I was briefly home. I was home for about 3 weeks. And I get back to Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. There's a robot cleaning. It's mopping. And these people, these Midwesterners, are all standing around this thing like they're watching a sorcerer do magic because they've never seen a robot cleaning before. And I'm just like, God, you guys go to China. This is nothing.
You're watching breaking news on CGTN. You're watching CGTN with the latest market-moving headlines from around the world.
Welcome to the world today on CGTN.
Again, he can hold in guns. Word protesters.
Were you worried about your life at that particular time?
Not at all.
Excellency, thank you very much for your time. What is your assessment of the state of the continent today?
Africa has the potential to power itself.
Excuse me.
This happens. Now, what is the biggest difficulties that you have to adapt yourself to in China?
Language is tough. I'm learning the language. I'm having a hard time with it. I'm 36 and a half years old, and they say the human brain after the age of 25 has a hard time with languages, and it seems to be true. The different accents of China, too, are vast. You go to different areas. I travel in a lot of rural areas. People have heavier accents, and so it's a lot harder for me to talk to people without help, because my Chinese is just, I'm still learning, and it's going to take me a long time to learn. Language has never been my strong suit. I majored in Japanese studies. I was never good at the Japanese language. Just language as a whole is really hard for me. And Chinese, for a Westerner, at least for an American, is one of the hardest languages you can learn. So that's a barrier. There's definitely cultural barriers too. Being an American is different from being Chinese, and just the way that I am, how I carry myself, how I think, how I talk, how I am. Average Chinese people are not like me, and that's kind of part of the joy too, and the charm is I'm a unique American. But sometimes culturally, I have a lot to learn with assimilation, and just kind of with how the way people conduct themselves, how they talk, how they carry themselves. I'm a very outgoing, loud, and you might say like a fun person, and more Chinese people seem to be a little more reserved. So my clash of personality against the backdrop of what is an average Chinese person culturally, there's definitely a difference. I think that's part of what makes the videos so interesting, what makes me so uniquely suited to do this. But like I definitely have some experiences where culturally I have a lot to learn.
Right. What is the most convenient parts of living in China?
Well, again, the technology, the ability to order anything on your phone at any point in time, any time of day, in America, and the price point too. It's so expensive in America, and it is only getting more expensive. And today I ordered some fruit here, and then I thought, oh, you know what? I also want to order some cheese. So then I ordered some cheese. In America, if you're getting things delivered, you're paying like upwards of 100% of what the goods actually cost just to have them delivered. And it's just so ingrained here in China as part of everyday life that it's affordable to sit and have things delivered. You forget something at the store, well, just order that too. And it comes and it's affordable and it's convenient. And in America, if I want to order fruit, just fruit, right? I spent America probably about $6 today on some fruit, and with delivery and everything was like about $8. I'm looking probably at like $30 in America. And then if I forget something, probably another $30. So just the affordability here is so much better.
In what ways do you think China can improve, or the city you live in can improve to make it more expat friendly?
That's a good question. The language barrier, it actually surprised me how few people in China speak fluent English. I thought it was going to be a much higher number. There's this ongoing joke. I ask people, you speak English? And everyone says, a little. A little means I can say a little, and that's about it. So the language barrier, you know, I do have help. I have a team that helps me with videos, and they travel with me, and it makes going out easier. But like on my own, I could figure it out. It would be tough. And again, technology is going to render this barrier obsolete. In the next 2 years, I think there's going to be incredible leaps and bounds in tech. But so far, I have found that to be a little bit of a barrier for me. And if somebody's coming here and they don't speak any Mandarin at all, they will probably have a little bit of a harder time. You know, it was a learning curve. You figure it out. I've been here for a year now, and I could go out on my own, and I could get by probably just fine. The taxi cab situation is a little bit tougher. And occasionally, like, you know, random people, sometimes they don't know who I am. They just want to make conversation, especially in Tianjin. People are chatty.
Yeah.
And like sometimes if I'm out for a walk by myself, people start talking to me, and I'll just be like, I don't know what you're saying. I'm sorry.
People in Tianjin are very friendly, folksy. I love them.
Yeah, they sure are.
Now, you're a happy person, obviously. You're outgoing. Do you want to say a New Year message in Chinese to our viewers?
新年快乐. I'm looking forward to peace and harmony in China and having another year, and the privilege and honor of being an American, traveling China and showcasing not only the beauty of this country, but the beauty of human love and coming together and understanding across borders and cultures for the sake of we're all one species and we need to work together for better things.
Great. Evan, great to have you. Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
Good to see you again. Thanks for having me back.
That's it for this edition of The Hub. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our news coverage continues on CGTN. Bye and take care.